Yeah.
Is there a serial killer in southern New England investigating multiple suspicious deaths?
Right.
And here I want to put this up on the screen. What we know about 6 bodies found across New England, and the serial killer fears that they've sparked. So residents across several New England towns are expressing concerns about a possible serial killer. Of at least 6 bodies have been recovered in a little over a month. The remains were found in 4 towns in Connecticut, 1 town in Massachusetts, and 1 town in Rhode Island, all within a couple of hours of each other and on the Atlantic coast. As the notion of a possible serial killer floats across social media among web sleuths, some investigating agencies have dismissed the theory. 2 of the women connected to the case disappeared in the fall. And here's what we know about the victims and the timeline of their bodies discovered. March 6th in Norwalk, Connecticut. The body of Paige Fannon, who you see on the left, was recovered by Norwalk Police scuba team and fire rescue team on March 6th. Local outlets have reported. Norwalk Police were assisting authorities in nearby Wilton, Connecticut, search for a missing person. Per the New Haven Register, Wilton authorities were looking for Fannon, a resident of West Islip on Long Island, as she was seen in the jurisdiction on March 5th, a day after she was reported missing in New York. Authorities located clothing and personal items left on the bank of the Norwalk River before eventually discovering Fannon's body. So that is a case that is really recent. And it seems like there's what we would call in an investigation, it seems like there's meat on the bones here. She went missing, I believe, on the 4th from West Islip. And then, or was it the 5th? And then
the 4th, March 4th.
The 4th. So March 4th. So they, who was she with? Does she have a boyfriend? Is she married? What was she doing in her life? Did they go through her cell phone? Who was she living with? How did they get that information? Who reported her missing? These are all questions that I have. This is all investigation 101, but yet we know very little about Paige Fannon, right? We know extremely little about her. But could that case open up a Pandora's box on whether or not these other remains that were found along this Connecticut area here, I'll put it up without could this be the key to solving some of these other cases? Are there similarities? What was the cause, the manner of death? Look, no one that is doing anything good dumps bodies, in the woods. You know what I mean? That's in itself is a crime. So to act like, oh yes, it's just normal to be dumped along the side of a road in Connecticut or in New York or Gilgo Beach or anywhere. No, that's the person that dumps them is a criminal. And like we look at the Gilgo Beach bodies, for years and years and years, the Suffolk County Police ran interference and wouldn't admit that these cases were related to each other. They wouldn't admit that they had a serial killer. So I know this is really, really, really early in this investigation. So to say, we have a serial killer on our hands, it's way too premature. But law enforcement, please start releasing some information so we can believe what you're telling us. Because right now, there is no transparency whatsoever, and the web sleuths are going crazy. They're going to invent stuff if you don't give them information. Mike.
Now, Bill, I would like to think that all these little departments, big and small, are cooperating already, and they've talked and they've compared notes. I would like to think that, but I can't be 100% sure because they haven't released any information to the public about what they've been doing. If they put their minds together and they don't believe that this is a serial killer, put a communication out there and say, this is the reasons why we don't think there's a serial killer. You have different, causes of death, different locations. There's no connection between them. They're not like the Gilgo Beach killers in terms of Gilgo Beach victims in terms of what their occupation were. They don't have mental health issues. They don't have alcohol issues. They're not runaway women, runaway girls, lost in a big city. Whatever it is, talk to the public and assure the public that there are many, among all of the victims, there are so many different variables that they don't seem to have anything in common. They're not from the same area. They're not from the same ethnicity. They're not from the same religious church. They're not from the same community. They don't have any known friends in common. They don't belong to a particular health club or whatever it happens to be. They can't find anything. Whatever it is, tell it to the public and let the public know. But I would like to think that they've actually tried to put their heads together and come up with something. I'm taking that on faith because that would do a lot of good. Or worst comes to worst, if they do think there's a serial killer, don't keep that a secret either. If you think there's a serial killer, put it out there that we are tracking this as a possible serial killer. We can't be 100% sure, but we're taking it that seriously, that this may be a possible serial killer because there may be some connections. Maybe, the fact they were all had the similar type cause of death. They were dressed similarly. They were staged. The bodies were staged. They were abused in a certain way. Their bodies were placed in areas along a particular desolate road. Those sorts of things. Communication is the key. And I hope that they are communicating with each other. And I hope that they will communicate fairly quickly with the public, because without that, the public doesn't have really any cause to really trust what the police are doing.
Absolutely.